Oh my God, it's button pushing time. Push the button. Oh, did it work? Oh, there we go. It took a second. Why is it all weird over here? Why is this like that? Oh my God. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the beginning of the show where I go, why is the camera set all weird? It was over here. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We've got to push the Alt. There we go. We'll make it bigger over this way. I don't know. I don't know what's going on today. Why is it? I don't know. We have weird camera shots. Here we go. Weird camera shots. What's up? How's everybody doing today? It's Monday, the 5th. Oh my God, is it the 5th of February already? We know around here that it being the 5th of February is very exciting for most of humanity. We all know that most of humanity finds February 5th to be one of the most exciting days of the year. Why is that? Because it's the number 5 in the second month of the year. I don't know. It's another Monday. It's a Monday, bros. We're having a big time Monday out here. What is going on with chat? Okay, chat's this big. But I moved this. Oh my God, what is going on here? Okay. Why is it doing that? Why is it being weird? Well, I don't know. We'll see if we can't get a whole bunch of people to chat, and then see if it works. I don't know why people's names aren't lining up correctly. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's in a book of this chat buttons. Live chat viewer. What's it doing? Why is it doing that? Transform. What? These buttons. What's up with these buttons? I know what you guys are thinking. These buttons are helpful. Let's be honest. These buttons are not very helpful right now. Auto crop? We don't want that. Crop? Oh, it crops like that. Okay, we don't want that. Why is it? What did we change? We must have changed something. No? We put it over there. Oh, that's too far. We'll slide it like that. Okay. Height? Did we change the height? No, that's fine. Top to bottom. Width? Did we change the width? I forget what we did. We changed something. We changed something last week, and now I don't know. I don't know. Well, chat's weird today. I don't know why it's doing weird stuff. There's the opacity. It's the opacity. Everyone knows that. Should we change the color? We had it on green. Let's make it more green. It's more greener now. Okay, nice. Let's make it more green. Welcome to the show on a Monday where we talk about turning the chat green. God damn, it's such an exciting show. I know what you're thinking. It's a very exciting show. I'm going to make chat bigger. More grande. Mas grande. Where's the line spacing? You know what we need? Line spacing. We need line spacing. Where's line spacing? Hide chat when idle for 30 seconds. Hide user icons. What does that do? Oh, it makes them like that? No, we like the icons. Hide timestamps. Oh, we like timestamps. Change it to Brussels. Oh, that's not a good font at all. Let's find a good font. Let's find an unreadable font. Okay, that's readable. That's too legible. Okay, too legible. No, still too legible. No. Yeah, that's basically unlegible. You guys probably can't even read that. That's unreadable. Oh my god. What's this one? No, too much. Huh? Not enough. Oh, not good. Not good. Oh, let's see. No, not good. Not good. Oh, classic. This is a classic one right here. Oh, very classic. Ghost Rider movie. I don't know why that is even in there. That's weird. Hey. Let's find New Times Roman. Where's that? That's got to be like way down here. Keep scrolling. It's a matter of like, oh my god, I don't have New Times Roman. I don't have it. Dude, I don't have it. Oh man. What's this one? Oh, that's not good. Has a good name though. All right, let's see if we can't find something ridiculous. Here we go. What's that? Full on ridiculous. Tiny. Micro tiny. Where's the one that I like the most? Here we go. It doesn't look good, but I don't know why the names used to be on the left and then the chat would start. But I don't know what I changed. Blocking? Did I change blocking? No, I didn't. Weird. I don't know why. It's like it used to line up on the left and then the chat came after it and now it doesn't. Now it's not doing that anymore. And I don't know where that option is. Is there an option in this feature set? No filter, masking. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. It's hard to say. I don't know. There used to be a way to just line it up, but this whole thing's different now. So I think we'll even change the font. What was it? What was the font before? Did you hear me say what it was? It was not this. This? No. Huh? No. Huh? No. Too much. Huh? Way too much. Eh? Eh. No. Are you guys even chatting? It's hard to even see if I can do the chat because you guys aren't even chatting today. So, yeah, we'll just play with the font here for a minute. That one's pretty. This one's mighty. This one's mighty. This does not pop up on YouTube or anything for me. That's nuts. Yeah, I'm not, here's the thing. Like, I'm not in charge of like what YouTube wants to promote or not promote. And I think realistically, we had a talk last week that, that my channel's been on here for a really long time. And it probably like, oh, did you like that one? I'll go back. We at least got a vote from Zipgun. And since Zip is feeling sick, let me find it. Was it this one? It might have been that one. I mean, it's close. If it's not. No, not this one. Oh, not this one? Okay. What about this one? Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you vote on this one, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know why. The line spacing's all weird, and I don't know. I'm not liking how it's showing up. So, of course, I'm going to do it, like, during the stream. That's how we roll around here, right? Like, we just do stuff while streaming because life's too short. It's supposed to be streaming 24 hours a day. Oh, you know what? I didn't share it to Discord. I'll throw it up on the Discord. We'll see if we get some We'll see if we get some homies. We can see if we get some homies from the Discord showing up. Let's see. We'll get the shareable link. We'll go over here to Discord. We'll go over to the live stream tab, and then we'll pop it in there. And we'll hit the enter button. Boom, there we go. We shared it into the Discord. Maybe we'll get Frank Dominguez and whatnot. We'll get some people. Oh, you know what I should do? I'll hop into the green room just in case anybody needs to be calling in today. Because somebody might need to call in. Maybe somebody has some questions, and they can just start yapping in the green room and holler at your boy. There we go. Okay, we got things set up. We had to make some changes, minor adjustments here at the beginning of the stream, mainly because it has been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week. Not in a real bad. Well, okay. We've had some good news, bad news. Okay, mostly bad news. Okay, let's be clear. It's been mostly bad news, but I don't know. I feel like I've been living in it already, so it just doesn't even seem like anything different because, like, I've been in it. Okay, I'm not liking this chat font. We're going to have to change this font. I can't read it. I can't read it very well, and stuff pops up, and I try to read it. Okay, this one's not good. We're going to a different one. That is awful. Give me a minute. I mean, that's, like, readable. Can I make it bigger, or should I make it smaller? Is it because we made the font bigger? I don't know why. I used to have the name and then the chat after it, and for some reason it's doing the name and then the chat below it. And it's triggering me, bro. It's triggering me. It's triggering me, bro. Yeah, and I don't know why it's doing that. Keep source in memory? Yeah, that's fine. Messages? I don't know what the deal is. I know we changed something last week, but I can't even remember what it is that we changed. Flip, rotate, Z rotation, Y, transform, no, crop. What does that do? That just crops the top. Auto crop. Tip, Alt plus drag on the edges of your source. I already know how to do that. Tip, Shift plus drag, add source to rotate in 3D. I don't want to rotate in 3D. I don't want to do that right now. Preserve aspect ratio. Did we turn that on or off? I don't know. Oh, the rolling black in the background. Why is it doing that? I've got weird shit going on. Did I turn on, that's the question. Did I turn on the green screen? Why is it doing that? Shouldn't be doing that. Hold on. Let's see. Let's find out. Where is our video source? Right here. Let's see. Settings. Do we have green screen turned on? Chroma key right there. It was on. There. It'll stop doing it now. Is the green going by yet? Wait for it. There goes the green. It's just regular green color. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. Yeah, okay, good. We're better. We're better now, guys. We're better. We're better than we were before just a minute ago. Just 1 minute ago. I still can't read this. I don't like this. I don't like this font. Apparently we had the green screen chroma key was still turned on. Don't know why. We don't know why. No one knows. No one knows why it would have applied to everything, because the green screen should actually be turned on for scene 7 or whatever on this. But we're just people out here doing what we can, and we're gonna be surviving. We're gonna just keep on keeping on doing what we're doing. We're gonna do what we do. There we go. Yeah. So, whatever. Wish I had a great Wish I had a great reason for why it's doing that, but it is doing that. Ariel? That's like a classic old one. No. Oh my god, I don't even know what I had it on before. At least before it was like reasonable. It's like squished though with the spacing on that. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it's doing that, but the spacing is all weird now. Should I just reset it? Refresh. I'm going to refresh it and see if it works. We're not just going to reset the whole thing, are we? Oh. Okay, well, that's at least readable. Okay, I can at least read that easily out of the corner of my eye. So that's better. Okay. Well, either way, it's Monday. We're having a case of the Mondays. So, yeah. It's the chase on the light. Done. No chase. Okay. Yeah, it's the green. It was the green on the light was being eliminated. That's why it was black. Yeah. So, good eye. I wasn't even noticing that. But good eye. It's like the dust bunnies from Totoro. I didn't get my usual notification either. Come on, YouTube, get your shit together. Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing. We talked about it last week where it was like, I don't know what YouTube wants to promote or not promote or whatever. It's pretty clear like they don't want to promote live streams. That has consistently been their thing for a long time now, and I don't know if it's ever going to change. I know that there was a point where they were like, we're going to directly compete with Twitch, and we're going to steal talent from Twitch and pay them to live stream on YouTube. But I don't know if that's going to continue or for how long or whatever. I don't know. Aubrey says, how do the view counts work on live streams? Do they only count after the stream has been posted? So views on live streams is weird as all get out because it's like qualified in like a whole bunch of different ways. You'll get a certain amount of views at a time. Like right now I have concurrent viewers. We're only at like 11 people today, which is low. And then people will like click in and view, or they'll like preview for like a short amount of time and it'll count as a view or not. But none of this stuff really matters realistically. When you get down to like, look, how many views how many views was it on a live stream? Really only matters if you're like over 100,000 or, I mean, I guess 50,000 or whatever. Like you would need like really big numbers for it to really mean anything, and anything below that is just sort of like, I don't know. It's calculating whatever it's calculating. Views are realistically going to count on like produced content that is over 8 minutes long. Is basically like the only thing that like views really matter for. Because short content, views don't really matter all that much because they can't serve up ads. Extremely long content, you would expect that like, oh wow, they could have a ton of ads in that. But like you have to go back and manually put them in so that they show up every 8 minutes. And I don't do that because I don't care about the like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care about the 1/100th of a cent that I'm gonna get paid so that somebody has to watch 1 minute of an advertisement. I don't think it's a fair trade. 1 minute of somebody's life is not a fair trade to me to make 1/100th of a penny, if that makes sense. And I don't know. Maybe I'm a socialist pig for not wanting to exploit people for an extraordinarily small amount of money on a live stream that they probably just want to listen to after the fact. So I don't know. A stupid delay in chat. No, you like this one. You like this font. Zipgun, which font do you like? I know you're sick. Zipgun says I'm sick, so I'm blah. Negative for COVID, so that is good. Well, that's good that you don't have the Rona. It's good that you don't have the Rona because it's been going around. Hearing people, it's been going around. I don't know. I've been vaccinated like 6 times, so I haven't caught it. So it's probably one of the reasons that I haven't caught it. And admittedly, over the last couple weeks, I've been on a health bender. I kind of gained like 10 pounds extra in fatness, and I need to get rid of it. So the last couple weeks, I've been getting my step work and lifting weights and eating right. So I've been getting back on the norm to get back down to. I want to get down to like 176. I think is where I want to be. So I must have gained more than 10 pounds because I'm currently at 192. I was at 198. So over the last month and a half, I've lost 6 pounds. So that's fine. It's a slow go. I'm just working my way back to losing some of my belly fat. Some of my maternity weight. I was pregnant, if you guys didn't know. I had to do it. Fish Fam link, be like the guy trying to start a wave at the wave at sports event. Probably. We haven't determined if Fish Fam link is a human or not. We've heard that Fish Fam link might be a person, might not be a person, but they're saying give a thumbs up to the show. Oh, sorry. Give a thumbs up to show you are having fun, Fish Fam. You're supposed to do a thumbs up. I don't know. Realistically, if people become a member, I'm like, oh, holy shit. If people hit the thumbs up, I'm sort of like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. What does that do? I don't know. I don't know what that does. But a membership does help fund all of these wacky projects, which admittedly, we had a good project last week that I filmed for YouTube. I specifically spent a day filming for YouTube. A project that you people probably would have never been able to see if I hadn't gone there and pointed a camera at it. Filmed some interviews, filmed a fish, I filmed a company who ships out aquarium-related stuff. I guess we'll put it that way. And at some point, you'll get to see that video, so it'll be pretty cool. Not to interrupt, but I'm leaving Costco, and I saw an old guy, like 70-ish, shove a cart across the parking lot, and it flew exactly into the cart corral with the mad skills. You know, there's the thing. He might have been one of those cart jockeys that you see. He might have been one of those guys back in the day. We may never know, because he probably worked at the Piggly Wiggly or something. You know, he probably worked at the Piggly Wiggly or something like that. One of those old-timey stores. What's an old-timey store that you guys miss? I miss the Piggly Wiggly. That was a cool store. You could go there and you could buy chunks of wood. You could buy Converse shoes. You could buy some groceries. You could buy, like, electrical outlets. They had all sorts of whack stuff there. It was pretty rad. It was the Pigless and Wiggless, you know what I mean? It was Piggly Wiggly. I don't know. Did anybody else have a Piggly Wiggly around? I'm changing the font again. I'm still not liking it. I don't know. I'm going to have to buy another font for the chat. I'm not liking any of this. This admittedly is a really cool font, but it's hard to read. I'm going to have to remember that font. That's a good-looking font. I could use that for stuff. I could use that for content, probably. All right, we'll just leave it on that for now until I get sick of it, and then we'll change it again. And we can tell people, like, welcome to the show where we change the chat font. Does the algorithm only show content for like 48 hours? And if it doesn't break the 70% viewed, it stops showing it? Sorry, I just started trying to figure out all of the graphs in Studio. All right. So the algorithm has a bunch of things. Every algorithm has a bunch of things that are programmed into it. Like, do this, do that. If this, then that. Blah, blah, blah. Right? There's a ton of that shit. Exactly what YouTube's is, we don't know. Nobody knows. Anyone that claims to know is likely lying or had some success with something and claims that that's the thing. The algorithm on YouTube is ever changing. It is constantly changing. It is, by my understanding, likely hundreds of thousands of pages of all sorts of inputs and layered on top of each other year after year after year. They add stuff to it. At certain points in time, there have been changes made to the YouTube algorithm that YouTube completely did not even intend to have happen. So for anybody to have a full working summary as to like what works, what doesn't work, this, that, blah, 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 and saying that they like know the algorithm or whatever, they're probably lying. And I don't know the algorithm. I don't know what's going on with it by that standard. I do know that there are some metrics that are essentially like, these are positive metrics and there's a likelihood that this will get shared out to a bigger audience. But in reality's sake, the best things that you could do is just make good content. Make good content that ties into that content in the form of short videos and post those. That's generally the best advice that you can get. Search engine optimization is a thing. If you can do that yourself, wonderful. If not, you're probably going to have to hire somebody to do it. How much that applies to anything with the algorithm anymore, I don't know. A lot of people have been doing search engine optimization for a really long time. So now all of the search engine optimized inputs are all conflicting with each other, right? Because the search engine optimization is essentially, oh, somebody figured out this keyword was searched for a bunch. So if I highlight that with these other keywords, oftentimes this will show up at the top of a search. But there's billions of those now. So, yeah. Scott Shrimp and stuff says, I wonder if AI can figure out the algorithm. Probably. There's likely some kind of supercomputer / analysis type program or something like that that can start to sort those things out for him now. But I think there, definitely over the years, over the last decade, things have happened with the YouTube algorithm that they didn't even intend for them to happen at all, because they made a change here and it changes a whole bunch of other things, because all of the if this then that starts to conflict with, and it starts a cascading effect, right? And we end up with Andrew Tate, for instance, the red pill whack job weirdo. We end up with those videos going everywhere, right? And that's mainly just because he was essentially a pyramid scheme forcing kids to re-air his content. And so many kids were posting clips of that content that they eventually became like everything just started compounding and becoming viral in its own right. And YouTube didn't know what to do. Instagram didn't know what to do. Twitter didn't. Nobody knew what to do, because this compounding effect went like that. So, it is what it is. Mr. Beast started out on YouTube by sitting on camera and counting to 1 million out loud. That was his big start. His big start was counting to 1 million out loud, right? So, like I said, for anybody to come up with like, I know what's going on or whatever, the reality is like, if somebody was going to tell you like, here's the way you do it, then you would ask them like, okay, where's your example of you doing that and it proving to be so successful? Because at this day and age, at this point in time, if you knew how to directly influence and sort of game the algorithm and whatnot, just make a YouTube channel with 1 billion subscribers that gets 100 billion views a month, and then you could retire next month, essentially. And then just keep doing that. Make 100 of those channels, and then you just retired forever now because you've somehow captured all of the audience of the internet. So, and I haven't seen anybody do that. So, yeah. We Witchy Cat. You're in the chat. What's up, dude? You calling in? Kmart used to be pretty popular, and now it's gone. That's true. Sears and Roebuck used to be popular, and now it's gone. What else is gone? Rite Aid? Didn't Rite Aid go under?
Montgomery Ward.
Didn't Rite Aid? Did they go bankrupt? I think they just went bankrupt, right?
Can you hear me?
Haven't they all closed? Rite Aid, which operates about 2,000 retail pharmacies in 17 U.S. states. That's it? Oh, I thought they were like all across the nation. Only 17 states. Seeking to close filed for bankruptcy protection October 15th. Seeking to close underperforming stores, sell its pharmacy benefit company Elixir, and resolve over 1,600 lawsuits alleging it fueled the opioid epidemic by filing illegal or suspicious prescriptions. Oh, man. I don't know. Rite Aid's closing. It used to be pretty popular. I don't know. Apparently, it was only 17 states. I thought it was all around. Yeah. I don't know. It just reminded me that adults are... Oh, yeah. There are children with more experience. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. That's one thing. When I think when everyone was a kid... I think when everyone was a kid, we always thought that, like, adults had some sort of, magical wizard power or whatever. Like, adults know what's going on, and then the reality is you grow up and you go, like, this guy over here has been a shithead for the last 40 years and he ain't learning nothing. And you go, yeah, there's a lot of those around. Although I do know a lot of adults that have some amazing skills and have learned some stuff. Toys R Us. Yeah, Toys R Us used to be a big deal, and now it's just gone. They just closed it, and they sent that giraffe back home to wherever that giraffe came from. Went back home to Mama's basement. Basement-dwelling giraffe. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I changed something on here. I don't know. It's going to bug me forever. The chat, that is. Should I just reset it? Position? That's all reset.
Hello?
What does this do? I don't know. I look weird and out of focus today. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. The chat's just going to bug me forever. It's going to bug me. It's going to be a timeless... It's just going to be our new thing. It's going to be our new thing all the time. Screwing with the chat. Wondering what's wrong with it. Expecting it to, like, resolve itself somehow. What's going on? It says I'm talking, but no one hears. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I can kind of hear you. Hold on.
Oh, really? It's kind of
Yeah.
hear me? Well, all right,
I can
maybe
kind of
have to
hear you.
talk louder.
Huh?
Hold on, let me see if it's a volume thing.
Hold on a second. I'm going to turn you up. Hello?
How about now?
I turned you way up. You're at 164%.
That's crazy. I'll try not to yell. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. You're
All
at 100.
right.
You're at 150% now. That's working. Though.
Woohoo! I have got it cranked to maximum on using old earbuds. The new ones are in the other car.
Ah.
I don't know. Anyway,
What's going on, dude?
hi.
What are you doing? Hi. What's up?
Not much. Well,
What's happening?
I've gotten
Welcome,
rid of-
welcome, caller to the we yell at the chat font
Is this
program.
Yeah. Is this we yell at the internet?
Yeah, just yelling at clouds. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's going on?
Nothing. Just sitting here watching snowfall. Same shit, different day.
Is this snowing again?
Oh yeah, not
Why?
bad, but bad enough that I couldn't go to town as planned. So whatever.
You couldn't go to town for what?
I had planned on going to town to get more fuel for the generators, but we will be not generating for a few days. So.
Oh, you out of gas?
No, not quite. I've got enough for a few days.
Oh.
The question is, do I have enough to get me through before somebody comes up and plows the road? So.
Oh, is somebody plowing up there this year?
Yes, I have a neighbor who plows my road for me because he doesn't know how to use his phone or the internet. So I teach him that, and he comes and plows. Excellent.
All the way up there, huh?
Yes, all the way around my cabin, digs out my car on his little tractor. He's pretty funny. It's very
Crazy.
cool. Yeah, I love it.
Does he live way up on the hill up there?
He does. He lives just around here on the same mountain as I do, just on the other side of the Y. So you can turn one way to come to my place or go straight and go to his place.
Oh, okay.
There by that little pond that no one knows what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, you just go that way and you go around the corner and then there's a road.
There you go.
Then there's a bird out there.
But you follow the falcon.
You see, if you see that bird, take a left. Yeah. Wait, who's saying that the bird would stay there? And you're like, well, just go left. It's fine. When you see a bird.
I shot it myself. It'll stay there, I promise. Actually, you turn at the random lost toys taped to a fence box. Anyway, yeah, fun stuff. And now that you don't have dust bunnies over your head and the font is legible.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the show.
See you guys. Bye.
Yeah, we had some. We've had a real weird week here. Last week, it's been weird. We had some stuff that doesn't need to be talked about on the internet, but we had some family interaction that was rough. But so my father-in-law is what you guys would think of him, Vicky's dad. Got in a horrific car crash up in the snows of Alaska and died for a little while.
Oh no.
So Vicky is up in Alaska helping take care of her dad. He's not dead, but he was for a while. They shocked him until he came back to life. And then they put a bunch of stuff in his heart and they fixed he's got a lot of injuries. So just trying to get him set up. So I'm single dad here. I'm single dad temporarily. Dadding it up for a little bit.
And so now that Olivia is running the reality, how's that going?
Now that Olivia is what?
Running the reality.
Running the reality? I don't know what that means.
It's been my experience that singular parent and small child leads to small child schedule running the day.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, well, that's the problem, right? Like, you can't just leave a 5-year-old.
Tempting though it is, no, you can't.
You can't just leave them, like, over there. Like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like, it won't be fine. Whatever it is, they will figure out something to make it not okay, So, it's like with a 5-year-old, you can't just leave them. I mean, you could obviously put them on their pad, like the iPad or the tablet or whatever you guys call it.
Right, screen time.
And be like, hey, just watch these cartoons and they generally will stay in the same spot if you do that. But I don't know about you guys, but not my daughter, because she'll get up with her little tablet and wander around and do things with the cartoons on. So she'll be in like an area. If that's what you were hoping for, like she'll be in an area, but it definitely won't be looking the same when you come back to it. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. So I've been doing it's basically like being a single dad, and I don't understand how anybody in this world that we live in could be a single parent. It's ridiculous. It is a ridiculous setting. It's a ridiculous life setting. I'll put it that way. It is fucking, I don't know, for lack of a better term, it's R-worded, man. It's Tropic Thunder. It's Tropic Thunder. It's full Tropic Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's incredibly stupid. I can see why I'll put it this way. I can see why orphanages exist, you know? They're like, yep, the husband died, so I just can't have kids anymore. I got to take these over here and drop them off. I can see why that's the case. And for those of you out there that think I'm being insensitive, well, my grandmother was adopted because they dropped her off because of the Great Depression. So there could be outside influences causing people to be dropped off at orphanages. But while the Great Depression is different than somebody being a single parent, I think there's some similarities there. So yeah, it's been troubling a little bit, but it's not bad. Like, I don't mind taking care of Olivia. I mean, realistically, if somebody said, be a stay-at-home dad, I probably would do that. But the issue here is that somebody's not paying my bills. So, because I got the other shit I got to do on top of trying to take care of Olivia. So that's the issue, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Either somebody's got to give Vicky like the biggest promotion ever. Like, she's basically got to become like
CEO.
Yeah, the CEO. And then I'll just stay home and make her food, or I don't know what she would want me to do. Something. She'd probably want me to do something. It's probably
vacuuming involved, I hear.
Probably food and like make her furniture or some, I don't know, just whatever weird things she comes up with. That's probably what would be my job. Food and make her stuff. But she's not, unfortunately, guys, she's not the CEO. So we still have all these whack ass bills to pay. So yeah. And all the Navy ships rolled out the other day. So one of my sources of income has just disappeared. The docks are empty. The docks are empty. What's going on here? Both Sears and Kmart were killed by Wall Street whiz kid Eddie Lambert. He used them as experiments to prove his Ayn Rand fetish and instead ruined them. Both KB Toys and Toys R Us were killed off by leveraged buyouts. Leveraged buyouts should be outlawed. They do massive harm and only benefit a very few wealthy people. Yeah. You guys, I think most people here know my stance on the exorbitant wealth that we are experiencing from a very small portion of the population. We are experiencing what led to the previous Great Depression in these United States. We are going through the exact same cycle that capitalism will do when not regulated. We will end up having the game Monopoly once again. And it's the Rockefellers, it's the Carnegies of the past. We are returned, and we're going through the exact same cycle because this is what capitalism does. So when people say, like, aren't you a capitalist? It's like, I do like certain parts of capitalist and capitalism and American liberal society, for sure. There are a lot of elements that I agree with. There are a lot of elements I disagree with. And one of them would be the fact that we're not regulating against any of these monopolies, monopsonies, whatever you want to refer to them as. in order to benefit the entire population, which I think is what we should be focusing on, as opposed to letting dipshits like Bezos wander around with $200 billion, which is just an unfathomable amount of money that he will never be able to do anything with other than make dick-shaped rockets and fly up and look at space and then fly back down and go, how much did that cost? And it obviously doesn't cost him really anything, realistically. So, yeah, I think we need a lot of new regulation in the United States. We need a lot of new laws. We need to make up for a lot of lost time. The last 50 years in the U.S. has depleted the middle class to a point where it just doesn't even exist anymore. I know the new economic numbers that are out there are like, you need to make $120,000 a year to be considered middle class now, which it's fucking crazy. Is there $120,000 a year jobs out there? Not really. Nope.
No.
Most of them are unionized anyhow and don't have anything to do with private business. So.
Right. And we're busy trying to get rid of unions too, of course. So, you know.
Trying to get rid of what?
I said the right is busy trying to get rid of unions as well. So
they're not trying to get rid of unions. They have successfully gotten rid of most unions.
Successfully gotten rid of unions.
Yeah, they're not trying. They have removed unions essentially from the United States workforce.
It's sad.
I don't remember the exact number, so I don't want to quote wrong. Let's look it up.
Uh-oh. There's Googling involved. Like the
oh my
companies
God.
I was thinking of that.
It's still falling. It's still falling. So in 1983, let's take 1983. That's a good 40 years ago. 24.7% of men were in a union. In 2022, it's down to 10.5%. Women were 14.6% of their jobs were unionized. Now it's down to 9.6%. So the overall average is at 10%, 10.1% now. Over the last 40 years, it's dropped. Just the last 40 years, it's dropped that much. I think if you go back further, it's even scarier. But you know, over the weekend, because I had to. Here's one of the issues with having Olivia here. So I moved my office out here to my office, where the studio, out here, and Olivia's room is way far away from here, which is fantastic when Vicky's home. Vicky, if you guys don't know, is like, I don't know, she's like 90 years old. She wants to go to bed at 8 o'clock. Maybe 7. I think she kind of wants to go to bed at 7, realistically. She wants to go to bed at 7 p.m. and get up at whenever. But she wants to go to bed at 7 p.m. So when it comes to like 8:30, 9 o'clock, I generally am unencumbered by having to take care of my spouse or my daughter because they're sleeping on the other end. And I can be over here editing, recording, making lots of noise. But when I'm here by myself, we run into a problem. I'm way far away from Olivia. So if she does wake up, which does happen from time to time, I'm going to be way far away. And then by the time she figures out I'm out here in the office, she is going to be in a full-on meltdown mode. So the last nights I've had to be within earshot of my daughter, and all my computers are out here now. They used to be in the other room so that I could, you know, be plunking away, working on things and not really be too far away. But now I'm too far away. So I'm trying to figure something out. I was thinking I was going to take one of my security cameras, put the security camera in the hallway, and then,
ooh,
you know,
yeah,
there'd be like
one of the ones that dings so that you can hear if she opens the door or comes out of the room.
yeah. Well, it'd be like a baby monitor, but we used to have a baby monitor, but we don't have it anymore. We gave it to somebody else who had a kid. So we don't have one of those. So I think I like use one of my security cameras to like see if she wakes up.
I don't know
or
why
something.
my daughter's
Like,
paranoid.
oh.
I don't have cameras inside the house. Oh wait, yeah, I do. That's funny.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was trying to figure something out, and then I was like, well, it's pretty short term that Vicky's going to be in Alaska, but her the date keeps getting pushed out because medical issues aren't solved on a timeline necessarily. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Complications pop up, so it's gotten pushed out. Which I already told Vicky, I'm not the one that's going to be telling Olivia that her mom's not going to be home on the day that she said she was going to be home. So, but I'm the one that I'm the one that's going to have to deal with the crying. I'm the one. This guy right here.
Well,
although I will say something to all you MFers out there. Have you ever had a compliment from your mother? Because I got a compliment from my mom, who is 70 years old this year. 70 years of experience. I got a compliment from my mom the other day that was a pretty big deal. She said that I was a really good dad. I was a really good dad, and she was that she said one thing that she could point out is that like just how patient I am with Olivia. And I was like, it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. So I got that compliment. So I'll carry that around in my pocket while I have to remind myself, like, well, I got to be patient. When she freaks out because she's 5 and doesn't have a 1 through 10 setting, right? It's like, I'm upset, so I'll just go to 10. 10 upset. It's like, you can't go to 10 upset. Just go to 3. You need like a 3 upset. You drop the thing on the ground. It's not a big deal. Yeah. But I got that compliment from my mom the other day. I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a compliment like that from your mom, but if you haven't, get in your car and drive over there and demand it. Post haste. Get yourself a compliment from your mother, regardless of who she is. Unless your mother is Ted Bundy, then don't. Because rules,
If your mother's Ted Bundy, there are many other things gone awry in your life.
You never know. You never know. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
All right.
Well, I'm not judging. Just saying. Just saying.
$160K for family of 6. Alyssa, yeah, you're right. There's no way. Sorry.
My coworker yesterday was I'm gonna read it out. My coworker yesterday was reading something and said, "Is a combined income of $160K not enough for a family of 6?" And I said, "No." And she said, "What? Really? Come on." And I said, "The daycare alone is about that much for 4 kids." Yeah, I mean that's the crazy thing. I was actually listening to James Carville was yelling at what's his name?
Everybody?
Bill Maher. Which is funny because James Carville actually has just doesn't give a fuck about Bill Maher really. And that might not be the right way to put it. Is that like Bill Maher doesn't have any power over James Carville, right? So he's just like, here, I'm just going to tell you how it is. Like, this is what's up, But the interesting takeaway that I heard from that, they were talking about some of the issues for the presidential race and blah, 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 whatever. But one of them that he brought up that he thought he'd never occurred to him before, because Carville never had kids. But he was like, he had recently over the last, I don't know the timeline, but he was like, yeah, over the last 10 years or whatever, one of the things that keeps coming up is childcare, universal childcare for kids. And when I explain this shit to people, they are like, especially people that don't have kids. First off, they just act like it doesn't matter, is their first take. And then the second take is just find a cheaper one or whatever. But Olivia's daycare is $1,683 a month. Right? That's how much Olivia's daycare is. And they're like, take her to a cheap daycare. Now, here's the thing. A cheap, shitty daycare that we had problems at was $1,400 a month. The difference is $283 for her to be in what we would consider to be a really nice daycare.
Right.
That's $283 a month. That's it. That might be a make or break for some people. I would rather stab myself in the foot than send her back to the like derelict daycare that she was at before. Especially when it's only $283 a month. I think if somebody said like, oh, it's $2,800 a month, you know, I might be like, well, let's try and figure out if we can't just take her there for less hours out of the day and do more teaching at home or something. I don't know. But for $283, it's not enough for us to be like, oh, let's send her back to the other daycare that she was at, where like some guy was smoking crack out front and they were like, it's not a big deal. That just happens sometimes. You know, that was the daycare's take on it. Was like, sometimes that happens, you know. But when you start to add that up, it's like if you, I can't do the math off my head, unless somebody's got a calculator, they might beat me to it. 1, 6, 8. Whoops, I hit 2 instead of 3 times 12. So it's $20,196 a month if there is no additional stuff like swim class, like soccer, like the gymnastics stuff that she's been doing. We have to send her to a karate class, not karate specifically. Don't get up my ass about karate class. It's not karate class. Martial arts.
Martial arts.
Yeah, we were trying to find a good judo studio for her to go to. Honestly.
Cool.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is stupid. Yeah, it's great for like mixed MMA. Like, yeah, it's great for competition, you know, but it's not good for like actual humans out on the street, realistically.
Small children on the playground.
It's more helpful than having nothing, sure, but in my wholehearted belief, judo is much better for the types of interactions that actual humans have, like on the street. Like just all the judo throws are like going to deal with probably 95% of any kind of physical altercations that like humans are going to get involved in. And Olivia is a female, so she's always going to have a body weight differential from, generally speaking, the people that would try to attack her, whether it's half of the population being men are generally going to be bigger than her. And she's not a gigantic human. She's going to be probably a little gal. I don't know. So judo is probably going to be the best for her, honestly.
Cool.
And let's say there's a cheap daycare, $1,200 per child a month is $4,800 a month. Yeah, you start to add that up, it's fucking buck wild, dude. Like we have one kid, and it's a lot. It's more than most people's mortgage, right? Unless you got a mortgage this last year, and then it's less. Yeah, and also the thing, like another point there is that like, you know, we moved up here. You guys don't need to know how much our mortgage is, but it's more than Olivia's daycare. And it's pretty substantial. We moved up here so that I could work more, and that didn't pan out because I worked for a company that seems unsustainable at this point, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, there's definitely some stress there. And if we're talking about like people in the middle class trying to exist, and let's say you have 2 kids, let's say you don't have 4 kids. Let's say you have 2 kids, you have 2 children. We'd be looking at like $3,700 a month if they were both the same age, right? Littler kids, it costs more. If you're an infant, it's more.
There's that changes. It's costly.
Yeah. So, admittedly, like some of our daycare money stress is going to lessen in September when she starts to go to school. But here's the also fucked up thing is that like when the kids start school, they don't go for the whole day. I don't know if you guys know this, but we also have to pay daycare for her first kindergarten year because they don't go for the entire day to kindergarten. So we have to take her to daycare. Then daycare drives her to school and drops her off on a little short bus. And then they pick her up and bring her back to the daycare so then we could pick her up at daycare after the workday. Yeah, so it's going to lessen, but it doesn't go away because we're still going to have to be there at least through grade 1, I believe. But yeah.
Yep. And if she goes to one of the elementary schools that start really early, even in first grade, and she gets out at 2 or 3, and you still got that time between then and 4 or 5, whenever your normal pickup is.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like work's not done at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's just like the sustainability of this is the way that the U.S. is headed right now. It's like it's not going to work. It's not going to work. We have a lot of people that have captured most of the capital, and unions are gone. Work protections are significantly lessened. So Alyssa is saying, oh, yeah, the people she's complaining about were living in Western Washington somewhere in their early 30s. So if they own or rent, the housing cost is at least $2,500 a month, plus all the other incidentals, plus food, plus insurance, plus your own health insurance, plus health insurance on top of that, plus dental and vision, because they don't come with health insurance in the U.S. Car insurance, PMI, which is your home insurance, property mortgage insurance. So, once you start adding in all of this stuff, that's $88,000 a year, right? But that's $88,000 a year after tax, right? That's all after tax, post-tax money. You need that as cash, as a payment. So if you take $88,000 and we multiply times 0.2, oops.
We didn't even mention things like food.
0.23, which is going to be your normal tax rate, and it'll get reappraised to 0.19 once you take your deduction. So that's $20,000 on top of the $88,000. So you're looking at like $120,000 is like $120,000 is just your base. Like you're not going to have anything left after that. So yeah, it's the way that things are going. Like it's a lot of people are complaining about inflation and other things going on. The reality is that like all of these prices going up and the fact that people don't have enough capital to do stuff is because of the things that I was talking about, like healthcare. We don't have public healthcare, right? So the average person is probably paying out about $600 a month for their healthcare, whether that's removed from your check or not or whatever. And it's only going to go up as you get older. We're noticing now, this is super interesting, that the boomers are the ones that are essentially getting extracted from for the total lack and ambivalence that they had towards our political system over the years. They're the ones that are being extracted from now at old age, with these like crazy premiums of like $2,000 a month for their health insurance and stuff, because guess what? Corporations know that the money is there and that they have these people by the short and curlies. They got them by their pubes, and they'll have to pay it or die, right? And when the option becomes you pay this or die, people will pay anything. You can say it's $1 million or you're going to die tomorrow. People will be like, sign me up for the $1 million so I don't die tomorrow. And that's the difference between an elastic market and an inelastic market, right? An elastic market is like TVs. An inelastic market is the fact that you will need healthcare at some point. And so, yeah, like the way that the system is designed right now, like it needs an overhaul. It needs some people that are willing to make those sacrifices for the overhaul. And I don't know who those people are going to be. People have asked me, they're like, why don't you run for office? And I'm like, if I ran for office, I would run as a Democrat because that's the biggest political party in the U.S. that I agree with mostly, right? If I run as a Democrat, you can't even have a picture in your past where you made a joke as a comedian where you were fake grabbing somebody's breasts over their flak jacket, right? Or you will be run out of politics. I can't remember his name right now. What's his name? Al Franken. Al Franken was run out of the Senate because of a picture where he was fake grabbing. Here's the picture right here. I'll show it to you. This picture right here. Okay? He was faking grabbing her boobs over her flak jacket. He's like barely even touching her flak jacket. He's not touching her shirt. He didn't take her bra off. This isn't even sexual assault. Like this is what a Democrat got run out of the Senate for, right? Al Franken was a badass dude. He still is a badass dude. Mm-hmm. These guys were on the USO tour and she fell asleep. They were on the USO tour together to go visit the troops and stuff. This picture came out long after this even happened. Somebody else released this picture and he was kicked out of the Senate. Right? So I'm no saint, okay? And there are pictures of me probably doing all sorts of God knows what over the years. I'm not saying that I've assaulted women or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the bar for Democrats getting the boot or coming under this like crazy scrutiny exists only for the Democrats. It does not exist for Republicans. Republican candidates can hang out with neo-Nazis and go to like booster dinners with neo-Nazis. They can grab them by the pussy because they are a star and they like it and they let it happen, and that's fine. You can run all sorts of scams through religious cults, all this like crazy shit. Apparently Republicans can do whatever they want. Their base will just vote for them no matter what. And their other political affiliates will not even call them on it. So people have asked me, like, why don't you run to be a local mayor or to be the local city council or something like that? That's why. Because the problem is, like, the people that I would be running alongside will essentially, like, dig around, find all sorts of stuff like that of the past, and then go like, well, look, this guy's a bad guy. This guy's a bad guy because he said it was bad that Palestinians should be like indiscriminately bombed. Now, I'm not opposed to the bullshit that's going on between Israel and Palestine. I'm not picking a side. I just don't think that civilians should get blown up. I think fundamentally that's bad, right? Is there a resolution there that I think is applicable? I think the first and foremost, they should probably get secular governments that could start to negotiate an actual situation there. But no, all of those people were raised in weird cults on both sides, and they both think that one group is like basically inhuman, right? That's how each side views each other. And they're just like brainwashed into this madness, which is why I wouldn't run to be like the Palestinian president or whatever they got. And also, I wouldn't run for office in Israel. But Yeah. The woman was a friend of both Al and Roger Stone. She chose Stone over Franken and betrayed him. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the reality is like that picture. The reason I bring up that picture, it's a perfect example of a Democratic senator getting run out of office for something that I mean, you literally had a Republican presidential candidate on recording, the recording of it where he's talking about grabbing women by the pussy because he's famous, right? And that's totally fine. But people they all still voted for him. But Al Franken, right? That's the problem, right? So that's the reason why I haven't run for political office is like I would have to go through a level of scrutiny that I probably wouldn't pass, and the Twitter storm would be ridiculous, right? They'd be like, I don't even know what weird criticism they would come up with. I don't know what it is, but it would be, it would essentially be disqualifying whatever it is that they came up with, you know.
I have to say that I don't know. I have really widely diverse friends, but I don't know in what world I could be friends with both Al Franken and Roger Stone simultaneously.
I mean, it's probably, I would say it's probably, well, I don't even know when that was. What, 15 years ago?
Yeah, but Stone's been in that job for much longer than that. But yeah.
Let's see. When was that? When was he on the USO? Yeah, Leanne Tweeden. She was a radio host. Let's see. When was this taken? 2006. So that picture was taken in 2006 on a USO trip to Kuwait. So at the time, my guess would be that Al Franken and Leanne, what's her name? Leanne Tweeden? Forget her name. Leanne something. Yeah, Leanne Tweeden went on a USO tour in 2006, which is a long time ago now. And so if they were all friends at the time, you think like you'd take about 20 years off Roger Stone, right? He probably was way more reserved about the weird stuff 20 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, right. No.
I
mean, he was friends with both Andy Warhol and Nixon, so I suppose
right.
it's possible. It's just very odd. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, he was friends with Andy Warhol and Nixon. He has a Nixon tattoo, which is insane. But like, he could just be an associate that like, oh yeah, well, he's the weird Republican guy and I'm the liberal guy, and we go back and forth or whatever, as like a radio
right.
thing or whatever they were doing. And you're just like, yeah, he's kind of weird, but you know, he's the other guy, which, you know, you got to think like, Rush Limbaugh was on the radio in 2006. Right?
Yeah.
It's just super easy to like
yeah.
lose perspective on stuff that was going on, you know, almost 20 years ago now, 18 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
So, I think that's why they were all like associated. It's, you know, it's work, it's this, it's that, you know, and Al Franken was definitely the kind of guy who would want to be bridging the gap as opposed to creating, you know, whatever rift that we have now, you know. And in 2006, there wasn't, this country wasn't as divided as it is now.
True.
It's not as divided. It's not as it wasn't as divisive as it is now, in the point that like, yeah, people were, you know, opposed to each other and whatnot. But
yeah,
there was a level
party and
yeah, I mean, there was a level of decorum to the Republican Party back then that doesn't seem to exist now. Was it like, who were the front runners back then? Like Mitt Romney, George W.
Right. That was 3 years up to Obama because he was 2008,
right?
So
yeah.
2 years before, right? So
yeah, it's 2 years before Obama. So it's like, you know, George W.
Romney
was doing his weird thing. People were throwing shoes at him, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, so it just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same back then as it is now. So, you know, for everything that's been going on, like there is one political party in the U.S. that will just basically allow anything to be going on. And even to that fact that, like, it's shocking to me that they managed to get George Santos out as a representative.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it was their own failing that got George Santos out, because the Republicans allowed, with McCarthy becoming the head of the House, to allow McCarthy to get elected. One of the things that McCarthy had to allow the Republicans to put on the books in the House was that if one person could motion for the removal of another member. That was one of the rules that they put in when McCarthy became the head of the House of Representatives this year. So finally, one person motioned to get George Santos out, and they decided to vote on it, which meant all you needed to do was get like 5 Republicans to vote yes, and there were enough Democrats that were all going to be like, yeah, get rid of him. Yeah, right now we'll all vote to get rid of him. So
here we are.
yeah, it's just that
Only
was the
somebody
only
could do
way
that
that they
first.
managed to even just get rid of that guy who was obviously lying about
Right.
everything all the time and stealing money and all sorts of stuff just blatantly.
If only they would do that for Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'd feel so much better about them. She's a nutbag herself.
Well, she's from Georgia, and there are a lot of people in Georgia that agree with her. So while I do not like her politics, and I do not like her being famous, and I do not like her having a platform to be constantly screeching out whatever nonsense she decides to make up on a daily basis, because most of it all is invented fake lies. I don't like that at all, but strangely enough, the people from her district really like it. So while I feel that I don't want her to be around, there does seem to be a place for her, and that does seem to be Georgia. And so at a state level, they're going to have to figure out something. What's interesting is that Colorado has figured out what they needed to do in order to sort of quell this madness, is that they moved Lauren Boebert into a different district. So Lauren Boebert probably isn't going to get another term, but she's gotten her 2 terms. She almost lost to that Adam Frisch guy who didn't even get any money on this last cycle, but she has been 2 terms, so now she's going to be a pensioner from the House. I believe you only need 2 terms to have a permanent health care forever.
Oh, that needs to go. Ugh. That's crazy.
Because I think she gets a pension from the House. I might be wrong. You might need to do 3 terms in the House.
I thought it was 3, but I might be wrong.
I think it's 2. I think it's you get elected once, then you get reelected, then you get your pension. Members of Congress first elected in 1984 or later are covered automatically under the Federal Employees Retirement System unless they decline this coverage. Members covered by FERS also pay 1.3 full salary to the Civil Service Retirement and Disability. Members of Congress are eligible for a pension at age 62 if they have completed at least 5 years of service. Okay, so she needs the 3rd term. She would need the 3rd term to get the pension. So senators, it's 2 terms. The House, it's 3 terms. Then you're going to get a pension for the rest of your life. But you do get health insurance forever because you were a member of Congress, which is interesting. It's almost worth running for. Run to be a representative, and then just be like, well, I only ran to be a representative so I could get health insurance forever. You might get elected on that if that was your platform. What are you running for? I'm running for my own health insurance. That would be wild. I mean, you'd probably get a lot of votes if that was your platform. You're like, vote for me. I need health insurance.
I know universal health care isn't going to happen, so I'm going this route.
Yeah, I'm doing what I can. Doing what I can.
Well, but
Yeah.
see, that would be a great argument for the people that are like, we don't want to pay
Hmm.
them for years after. Well, then don't leave them in more than 2 years. Cycle them through, and maybe get some fresh ideas in there at the same time.
Well, I honestly, what I think should happen, as far as like the House of Representatives should go, I think the reformatting of the House of Representatives should be to lower the amount of people that they represent. Currently, right now, I think there's 535 members of the House. They should make more seats, essentially. They should lower the amount of people that they're representing. It's getting far too large.
Right.
So there needs to be more representatives in the House. And I think that the House of Representatives should look something like more like jury duty, personally. I think that they should basically run a lottery system in whatever district and randomly pick
There you
five or 10 candidates or something like that. Obviously, you're going to get some people that are like, no, I won't do it. But there are a lot of people that probably would do it, considering their annual salary is like, what, $164,000, I think, something like that.
Right.
House of Reps salary. Let's check their salary. What's funny is that, like, people go, how do you get rich working in the government? And you go, well, if you're a representative or a senator, you essentially have kind of a zero out-of-pocket expenses for the years that you're in.
Washington.
The years that you're in, they have per diem every day. So they have a food budget, they have a travel budget, they have clothing budget. All of this stuff is all on top of their salary, right? Table of contents.
Into that clothing budget.
Most members of Congress make $174,000. It's gone up since the last time I think I tried to commit it to memory. So $174,000 a year. But I think, in my opinion, this is what the House of Representatives should look like. More like a lottery system as jury duty, right? You'll get your full salary. You can't be fired from your position. If you take that position and you come back to work after like 2 years, they should have that job available for you. So you should be able to go back to work at your previous position so you don't end up losing it. It should be a law, right? They should make that a federal law. And then out of those 5 or 6 candidates that are randomly selected, they will get voted on from the people in that district, and they'll have probably 3 open forums or something like that to be able to have like whatever kind of debate they want to have, and have people in you know, with the way that the internet works now, you can easily have people on a live stream and get the questions and have them go back and forth and be like, well, what do you believe in? What's this? What's that? What are you running? And their campaigns, air quote, should be publicly funded and only to be utilized with actual campaign stuff. And I think that's what it should look like. And we'd have a representative body in the House that would actually look like an actual representation of the people in the U.S., right? People actually randomly selected from the district to go, serve their 2 years, and to be able to vote and be motivated to do stuff because you're like, oh, I'm going to be doing this for 2 years. And you'd be motivated, right? Motivated to do things, get things done, find out what's going on. And people will go, oh, well, there's going to be a big learning curve. And you go like, yeah.
Well, to that point, and I think you've mentioned this in the past about doing some type of service for the country. It's always been my thing. I know that Israel does 2 years, 4 years of military is required. But I think that it should be something where you give, maybe it's 2 years of AmeriCorps, or maybe it's 2 years going to act as a intern in the political realm so that you get that information. But those kinds of things, because the big push is to get people to vote, but nobody wants to educate themselves on the matter. Most people are kind of running at a low level and okay, well, my parents voted this way. This is how I vote kind of starter. So then they wouldn't have such a big learning curve. They'd have this experience under their belt. They'd have some aspect.
Well, the bigger problem is that most people don't vote in the United States. That's the problem. The bigger problem is that most people don't vote in the U.S. That's the issue. And people will go like, yeah, well, but I saw there was the most people in the presidential election voted ever. And you go like, okay, yeah, but that was 60% of eligible voters in the last presidential election, and those numbers drastically outshine local elections.
Yep.
Your mayor, your city council, your state representatives, your district representatives, all that stuff. The presidential numbers are way, 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 way above the amount of people that show up for the local elections. And the local elections are going to affect you way more than anything else. And but that's the reality, is that most people in the U.S. don't vote, period. That's the problem. The people aren't involved in it. And so, whatever we got to do to try to get people involved so they can start understanding just some of the basics and stuff is going to be paramount. Even the Republican Party is so upset and lamenting the decision to put the Supreme Court justices in place that we're going to overturn Roe v. Wade at this point because of how incredibly unpopular outlawing abortion has been across the nation, even to the point where Kansas is a super Republican conservative religious stronghold state, and they multiple times have voted to put abortion back. And you're going like, even in the states where you should just be winning that by a landslide, it's not happening. And so, it shouldn't be that we need to outlaw basic human rights in order to get people motivated to go vote. Like, they should just be motivated to vote because of an understanding of like how it's going to fuck up your day if you don't.
Yeah. We have to look beyond the instantaneous, grocery receipt or whatever, and be able to extrapolate how that got there. And most people don't even want to take the time.
Well, I mean, yeah, the bigger problem there is that how do we show them that there's a reason to take the time? And I don't think people are these days hyper motivated to do any of that, which is why I titled today "Always Typing and Clicking." That's why today's stream was titled that, because people are just constantly clicking, typing, and just almost all of their input is from the outside in, from within their just media consumption. And it's really difficult to think that I'm gonna do all this media consumption and then have a real understanding of what's going on, because you haven't even really spent a majority of your day actually engaging with the things that are going on in your life, and then I think there's just so much of that going on now that I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much divisiveness and in the U.S. now as opposed to how it used to be. And I know that there are some people out there that are I've actually heard from some people that are oh, it's always been this way, but now it's the left that's out of control, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, conservatives in this country have been trying to stop and stifle anything and everything for the entirety of my life. I'm 43 years old. The entirety of my life, they've been trying to censor, get rid of books, censor people's albums, music. They have been censoring movies for long since before I was born. Any kind of content that they felt put their ideology in danger, they've been censoring since long before I was born. To a point of, if you can go back to 1970 and you start to realize that the conservatives in the U.S. realized that if people's ideologies were changing, and after civil rights, after the civil rights lawsuits and everything made it to the Supreme Court over and over again, and they realized that, well, we're not going to be able to continue to discriminate against people because the laws now are disallowing that from happening. That in 1970, they decided to bring up a whole bunch of laws that would throw a shitload of people in prison. They would be able to essentially do no-knock warrants and stuff like that from 1970 on. And that has long since been the standard of silencing people in the U.S. and still exists to this day, you know. And it for a lot of people, especially a lot of people that are younger than me, they're like, this is just how it is, right? And a good example of that continuation was like the Patriot Act. I don't know anybody who thinks the Patriot Act was a good idea, but that's been the de facto now since 2001, and it's 2024, right? Or
and it's used for everything. It was supposed to be temporary, as I recall.
Yeah. By the way, that Patriot Act was supposed to be temporary. Like, it wasn't supposed to just become the law. They've been voting yes on it every year to allow for all of this crazy overreach that the government is allowed to have. And it's overreach in stuff that they don't even remotely need to be involved in.
Yep.
For decades, millionaires and billionaires like the Koch brothers and their father before them have been pouring millions of dollars into every election cycle, buying politicians and judges. I think one of the bigger thing is that they're not necessarily buying politicians and judges; they're grooming them, right?
Yeah,
that's the bigger thing. Like the Federalist Society and those guys have been grooming judges and politicians for decades now, and I think they started. When did the Federalist?
And they know where to look. They cherry pick from the churches and
they cherry pick from Ivy League schools.
Yeah. And Rogers Aquarium, I wish that were true, but no, long before Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, 1982. 1982 is when the Federalist Society started. And the Federalist Society has been essentially, and the Heritage Foundation in 1973, these two, and the Cato Institute, those three actually have been in cahoots for since 1973. They go to Ivy League schools. They find these people who are on the fast track to becoming a judge. And a perfect example of that is that three of our Supreme Court judges, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and the chick, what's her name? Justices. What's her name? Amy. So here's what's crazy: Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh were both involved in George W. Bush getting elected. Both of them were judges in Florida, where there was the contested election between Al Gore and George W. Bush. Two of those justices were involved, that are now on the Supreme Court, were involved in that what do you call it? That whole legal battle there. They're the what the fuck you call that?
The election recall.
They proceeded over that and judged on whether or not George W. won or Al Gore won. Two of the justices now, strangely enough, who have been known each other for at least 20 years now. Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh both went to high school together. They went to the same high school at the same time. Gorsuch is 2 years older than Kavanaugh, and they went to the same high school. Like, we have Supreme Court justices out of the 350 million people in America. 2 of the 9 Supreme Court justices went to the same high school. You know how statistically impossible, or at least improbable, statistically improbable that is? Those two of our Supreme Court justices went to school together. Kavanaugh went to Yale. Gorsuch went to Harvard. Keegan went to Harvard. Sotomayor went to Yale. Clarence Thomas went to Yale. Alito went... Where did Alito go to? Where did they go to? I would have to find out. But they all have like basically gone to the same two schools. Coney Barrett went to Notre Dame because she's religious. But it's strangely enough, these people have known each other. They've been involved in the same groups. They go into the same high school at times. Yeah. So if you go like, yeah, if Rush Limbaugh was as important as he didn't put anybody in positions of power. Like, yes, he was divisive. He was crazy on the radio. He was doing all that stuff. And I heard constantly had to argue with people that were parroting shit that he said. But yeah, and it was Rush Limbaugh was a problem on the ground floor, essentially, of everyday average Americans who were just listening to talk radio while they drove around in their cars. He was regularly out of his mind, and you come to find out later on in life that it turns out was a huge drug addict and all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm not really shocked. But one of the bigger problems is that like if we're talking about the influence within our government, those the Cato Institute, the Heritage Society, the Federalist Society, those or the Heritage Foundation or whatever, those groups are distinctly influencing from the top down as opposed to the bottom up, right? And the bottom up does have an effect. The bottom up does have an effect. It's not zero, but yeah, it's. I feel like we're in much more danger from the top down being influenced, because the bottom up, at least you have an opportunity as a human or as a part of your community and whatnot to at least have a minor influence of like, hey, what can we think about this a little bit? Neighbor Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's a real bummer. But the biggest issue, realistically, in my mind, is that the people don't vote. They don't even do anything, right? They're just the apathy, the I don't care, the whatever I do, it's two wings of the same bird. And you're like, it's not two wings of the same bird. It isn't. Stop listening to that bullshit, right? It's factually untrue.
Well, we didn't win, so why should I vote? That's my other favorite. I'm like, it's a democracy. It can change.
Right.
Get out there.
That's the thing. It's like my candidate won't get elected, so I don't vote. But guess what?
Right.
When you do vote, you become part of the electorate, right? People have to take your opinion into consideration when they're trying to get reelected, or somebody new is trying to get elected, right?
Yep.
Because you are a part of the electorate. Guess what you are when you don't vote? You're nothing. They don't care about you at all. Why would you even take somebody into consideration that can't even be bothered to go vote, right? Now, understandably, it's more difficult in some states to go vote than it is in the state I live in. I understand that. But that's never going to change if you aren't involved, at least at the very base level, right? Like, that's never going to change.
Uh-oh, my generator's running out of gas.
Yeah, Kate Hartley says, my sister won't vote no matter what I say. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, trying to get through to people can be difficult at times. There is definitely a matter of like, you do have to be kind of persistent and try to talk to people, especially like people that are related to you. Like hopefully your family is more receptive to hearing things from, your family members. And, especially if you have friends, like friends, generally speaking, will at least like hear you out where you're like, hey man, it's a half an hour. It's not a whole lot of time. And then these people actually have to take into account that you are voting, right? If voting didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to keep people from voting. Yeah. If voting didn't matter, it would be automatic, right? It would you already like automatically be signed up, and then you question like, why aren't I automatically signed up? And it's like because somebody doesn't want you to be automatically signed up. But then you go like, why don't they want me to be automatically signed up? Why aren't they wanting me to be automatically signed up to vote? What's that all about, right? And sometimes if you can go down, if you're in a situation where you're like having a conversation with somebody who actually is willing to take the time to at least hear what you're saying, and you can at least walk them down a little bit of the path of like, why don't they want you to vote? Why don't they want you to do this? Why don't they want you to do that? Like who do you think is influencing like your opinion on said thing, and why would they be influencing that said thing? And oftentimes I think people sometimes will get motivated out of just sheer spite from the fact that like, wait, somebody doesn't want me to do this thing so they can continue to take advantage? Well, I don't like that. I'm going to go vote,
right.
Or whatever. And so sometimes it's hard to tell like what people might get motivated by. But if you do have a tendency to kind of go down that like questioning route of like, yeah, but why? I'm not saying be irritating and be weird and make people mad at you, but oftentimes you can get through to somebody sometimes in ways that you never expected. And that can be, I don't know if it's going to be life-changing, but I think the reality that kind of clued me into that was me getting sober and just being openly talking about being sober and like having difficulties with certain things and, having positives, having negatives, and just expressing that kind of stuff and being open about it. I think the reality is like, I haven't saved thousands and thousands and millions of people or anything like that. Anecdotally, the list is probably like 10 people, right? I don't know. I'm just giving you a number. But I've had quite a few people who have come to me, who've sent me emails. I've seen people in person, and they're like, you having made some changes in your life inspired me to make some changes. And I never set out to like do any of that shit, right? But I understandably can see the benefit, even on just a one-to-one, right? Like, I honestly feel if one person came to me and was like, oh my God, you doing this thing completely changed my life for the better, I would be like, that's valuable enough of an outside input. I would have done it myself, for the betterment of myself, for just me being in a better situation. But now that's like amplified even more because of what I was putting out into the world, right? I'm not starring in a major movie. I'm not able to be directing a major movie or doing any of the big, huge goals that I want to do. But I feel good at the end of the night going, I got a little list of people that I've affected in a way that is like so paramountly positive that I never would have even expected, let alone like actually influenced. That like I feel good at the end of the night, and I go home, or I go to bed and I go like, all right, I've been a positive influence on this world. And realistically, I think that if you don't need to have like a big life-changing event or anything like that, but if you're somebody who's changed one life for the better, like you are improving the world. And if more people were kind of doing that, then you would see like a gigantic change. And it sounds weird, and it sounds like some like TV commercial, blah blah blah, or whatever, like don't pollute, but I honestly think that like if there were more people just making some changes in their lives and then like demonstrating them, and what do you call like I guess like living the solution or whatever, or what is it, living amends, right? Somebody talked to me a long time ago in recovery that was like, one of the best things that you could possibly do for your community around you is like staying sober as like just an example that you could, right? And that's enough oftentimes for making amends to the people that I may have like wronged in the past, right? That like you're just living your amends. And somebody I talked to who was like one of my spouses from a really long time ago that was like, yeah, I would have married you for sure if you weren't drinking and doing drugs, right? Like they were like, yeah, I would have just made you marry me essentially, right? Except for the fact that because I partied like a maniac, like a rock star or whatever, that was the reason that they never did. And you know, I asked them about making amends on like what I could do to like repair whatever, and make amends to them for what I felt like I had or hadn't done wrong. But they were like, no, man, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, it's good. That's good enough for me. Like, I don't need you to do anything. Just do what you're doing. Like, it was enough of a benefit for them to know that, like, you know, I wasn't going to end up like dead in a ditch somewhere. And that when I do die, it will just be like, well, he's old, and that's what happens when you get old. Kate Hartley says she claims to be an anarchist, but I'm not seeing her doing much praxis. Yeah, I grew up in sort of what you would call like the Antifa society or whatever. You know, I was a punk rock guy, hung out with the metalheads, the industrial people, the goths, the weirdos. I hung out with the weirdos all the time. I hung out with normal people too, but you know, a lot of my social network, especially growing up and whatnot, were people that had a giant anarchy A somewhere on them at some point. And a lot of confusion around like what anarchy actually is. Anarchy is not total chaos, right? Anarchy is not chaos reigns. Anarchy is essentially a thought, a sort of a thought exercise that there would be no ruling class, right? The elimination of a ruling class and living in a world where everyone's cared for and everyone's needs are taken care of without the enforcement of violence, right? There would be no police. There would be no laws. Everybody would get to do whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it, and their cares would be taken, or their needs would be taken care of. And understandably, that is an admirable position to have as far as your beliefs go. I don't think there's any lack of admiration that I have for somebody that would be their ideal world, right? Their ideal worldview is that like, we don't need an army. We don't need a military. We don't need the police. We don't need governing representatives to tell us that like smoking weed is wrong, for instance, right? You know, doing what you want to do with your own body should be fine, blah, 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 right? The long list adds up. But the unfortunate thing is that we don't live in that reality. That reality looks more like Star Trek, right? Like anarchy essentially looks like Star Trek minus the administrative people, right? There isn't necessarily a captain or whatever, but abundance of goods is solved, right? You just go to a replicator and you get food. Oh, you need healthcare. Well, the healthcare is wide open. It's a door. You walk in, you go in the door, and you got, my arm's falling off, and they put it back on and fix your arm for you. It's sort of that Star Trek existence, as opposed to what we sort of live in is Star Wars, right? Like we have this Imperial force against the Rebel force, which realistically is all just a trade war to globalize and oppress everybody underneath a small ruling class, right? And since we do live in more of a Star Wars as opposed to a Star Trek, we need to be involved, even at like a cursory level, in order to try and achieve some sort of society resembling more of like a Star Trek, where people's needs are all taken care of, right? Like essentially everything in Star Trek is all optional. Like none of those people even really need to be on that spaceship flying around and like talking to tribbles or whatever the fuck they're doing in that show. They don't even have to do that. They're not compulsorily there. Like no one's compelling them to be there. There we go. I can put words together. Whereas like in Star Wars, everything is compulsory. I mean, there's slavery in Star Wars still, right? And everything is constantly a force and a fight against everything and this and that and the other at all points. And commerce is the only thing that seems to be the driving force in that reality that is, by the way, oppressing every single being in that universe, right? And that's generally where we live here, is we live more in a Star Wars. And if we don't, like, at the very least, if we don't represent our community to the rest and the overall community, aka the government that is the ruling class over this society that we live in, even just from the insulated viewpoint of being an American, right? And being in America, if we don't represent ourselves, then we have no representation. And with zero representation, you get oppression, right? Like you just get oppressed without any pushback whatsoever. And I don't think personally I would want to sign up to be oppressed without me doing anything about it. And I know that a lot of old punk rock kids and all those kinds of people, it has been an uphill battle for me to convince them that the simple act of voting is far more important than your non-existent act of civil disobedience by not voting, right? Like you're not enacting civil disobedience by not voting. You're just excluding yourself from any of these powerful forces, even acknowledging that you exist. And there's really zero requirement for them to even care about your existence because you've eliminated yourself from any opportunity from them caring about it. And it has been... And by the way, I know a bunch of people that refuse to hear my argument. They just get mad, they just get pissed, and that's fine. But it really is depressing when I hear that, like, a lot of my community of the past, for sure, I don't know how much I'm remotely involved with them now, to be honest, has just decided to exclude themselves voluntarily, right? It's pretty depressing. And I know that it's fallen on deaf ears a lot. But also at the same time, it didn't fall on deaf ears at certain points in time and probably convinced some people to pull their head out of their ass. But I also do know that that's a group of people that, like, they die at an accelerated rate. So they may just be eliminating themselves from the process in the worst possible way.
Well, that was grim.
What's that?
I said, well, that was grim.
I don't know. They keep dying, so I don't know what to say about it. Other than
I know.
It just is what it is. They keep dying at an alarming rate at a young age, too. So, I don't know.
So, Kate, turn your sister around. Fast.
I mean, it's obviously a process of being able to talk to people, but, you know, the reality is like, you get a lot of pushback, and if it's pushback from somebody that, like, doesn't really care about you all that much, they generally won't hear what you're saying. And that's unfortunate, but that's just how people are, right? And you just have to, like, accept some of that. And sometimes it's really, really, really little baby steps to trying to convince people of something.
It's usually got to be something that so directly affects them that they just can't deny it or ignore it anymore. That seems to be the only thing that I've ever seen convincingly turn somebody around. Mm-hmm. I'll see somebody like, I'll vote on an issue this year, and you're like, okay, but just because you voted on it this time doesn't mean you've got to stop voting, or you can stop voting afterwards. That's the other frustrating thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating when people like are checked out and they don't even want to involve themselves, right? But
Yep.
yeah, is what
it
is.
does make for much shorter political conversations with friends. I don't vote. Okay, well, never mind then. See ya.
All right, fuck you then. All right, I'm going to need you to go fuck yourself real fast. In the least friendly way possible, too, by the way,
Right.
while you're at it. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Tis a bummer.
Well,
Tis a bummer.
It's now that the Super Bowl is a huge political conspiracy, maybe it'll come up again.
Oh yeah, I got a video I'm gonna release about that.
Oh no.
I gotta finish some edits on my Taylor Swift. On my my Taylor Swift analysis.
Oh, I do look forward to seeing that. That'll be funny.
Celery.
So
This was the
typing
thing.
and
This was
clicking
one of the things that I needed to look up.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the funny thing is that NFL cheerleaders, if you guys were wondering, on average get paid $150 a game.
Wow, that seems really low.
Yeah.
That's not even practice time, training time. Jeez. Are the NBA cheerleaders any better off?
The NBA dancers? They're not cheerleaders. They're dancers.
Sorry, excuse me. My bad.
I don't know. There's one thing I got to tell you. So when I was a kid, my dad was a custodian. He was the head custodian of a school district, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, during the summers, he would on the side resurface and redo the basketball gymnasium, the hardwood floors.
Mm-hmm.
In the gyms, and so part of him doing that, he came in contact with the kids like basketball league, right? And then during the summertime, when they did the kids basketball leagues, he would be the guy who would have to come open up the gym for them and then hang out and then close it up when they left. I think they probably have a different system now, but it might be the same system. Who knows? So because of that, they were grateful for my dad doing that. So every year they would give him a pair of NBA courtside seats to the Seattle Supersonics. And my dad didn't much like going to the basketball games. I don't know. So he would give them to me, and then I would go to basketball games with somebody. And I will say something. I've seen a lot of football cheerleaders in my life. And I've seen a lot of cheerleaders. I guess we'll put it that way.
Okay.
But back in the day, going to the NBA and sitting courtside right next to the dancers, I got to tell you, whatever their workout routine is working really well for them. Like, there are very few times in my life when I'd be like, oh my God, like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a figure that makes me go, oh my God. And there was like 40 of them, and it was very illuminating from the standpoint of being a guy that like, oh man, there's like a caveman in here somewhere inside my brain. And I have got to figure out how to eliminate that weirdness from my brain. That was the big takeaway. Well, I was like, I gotta somehow I need to remove that total caveman ness out of my brain. But yeah, literally like the NBA dancer girls were the ones that made me realize like, oh, God damn it, it's in there. So we go like, Wait, they make them like that? Oh, I'm an asshole. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no shade.
Like literally
That's
to the
funny.
point. Yeah, this is weird. And it was very funny because I've really never seen a whole group of dudes just being like all trying to kind of I'm not really looking over
Lot of
here
feet
right now.
shifting.
I'm just look at the basketball. You know.
Lots of seat shifting going on.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Man, I am trying. I am a blue dot in a sea of red in my hometown. I am the only leftist. Some of my friends know. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely relate to that in some degree. I don't know if you are you familiar with Bo of the Fifth Column? I don't know if you're familiar with his YouTube channel. He's sort of a leftist hillbilly I think he's in Florida or whatever, but he's basically surrounded by a stronghold of air quote Republicans or conservatives or whatever you want to call them. MAGA people. There we go. That's a better descriptor. And one of the things that he's sort of focused on is trying to explain to that sort of staunch red voter that there is a possibility that they may be mistaken about their own values, right? For instance, like, there are a lot of conservative voters that claim that their First Amendment rights, the First Amendment is the most important thing to them. And I would argue for the last 70 years in the U.S., Team Red, I guess if you want to call them that, has been doing nothing but censoring and trying to stop the spread of free thought, free idea, and free speech. And suddenly, in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, with the Joe Rogan effect, they've suddenly thought, oh, well, we're the ones protecting free speech. Whereas the only groups that have been trying to protect free speech have been leftists for the last 8 decades, right? And liberals and lefties and whatnot are the ones that have been trying to protect free speech, freedom of the press, free publication and stuff like that.
Right.
And only very, very, very recently has it suddenly become a big thing that that the right wing is trying to claim that we're all about free speech, right?
Right.
And it's just factually and historically untrue that conservatives are the ones that are protecting free speech. They've been doing nothing but curtailing free speech for the longest time. And as a matter of fact, right now, the right wing is trying to overturn Section 230, which is the publishing rights of the publishing protections of platforms like YouTube and whatnot. And they're trying to overturn that now, right? And you go, well, why are the representatives of the supposed group of free speech trying to overturn one of the few protections we have for free speech left, right? Because as soon as you overturn Section 230, you won't be able to publish on Twitter. You won't be able to publish on YouTube. You won't be able to publish on Twitch, on Kick, on Rumble, on any site.
Or even their own platforms. What are they? Truth. What's the other one?
Well, yeah, the list goes on and on. You're right. It's a long list. All of these websites, you won't be able to publish anything anymore, right? So we will go back to essentially ABC, NBC, CBS in whatever incarnation those will be called. And the reason for that is that you'll be able to launch a lawsuit on every single instance of something that you think is just wrongly published, right? Against YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, whatever, Twitter, whatever site you want to name.
Yeah.
You'll be able to launch a lawsuit against that until the point where you'll have 40 million lawsuits against Facebook, right?
Right.
And then Facebook will just close down because they're like, the legal fees alone are enough to close down this business.
And back to the whole education thing, because people don't understand the First Amendment. If I had $1 for every time I've heard, "How dare you ban me? Free speech, free speech." And I'm like, yeah, that protects you from the government, not the
Right.
results of your own stupidity.
Yeah. Well,
There
that's
are
the
consequences there.
yeah. Well, that's the problem is that like the First Amendment protects you from your your speech being limited by the government, right? Not
Exactly.
not somebody removing you from their Discord because you constantly are talking about Nazis or whatever. I don't know. So I realized like how bright this is. I thought I had turned it
Cold
down,
feet
but
in
I
the
think
fish
it like,
room?
went back to bright. So this whole time I've had like shadows over my eyes, so I look like the devil, which was not intended. It's not the intended thing. But I realized like I was like, why do I look so weird? And it's like, oh, that light's been bright this whole time. So it's always good for like the last 2 minutes to go like, yeah, look, I fixed the lights. What's up, bud? But we also fucked with the chat a whole bunch, and we fucked with a whole bunch of stupid stuff during this stream. We only had an average of 20 people watching, so pretty.
You got through the whole thing without playing a game of Risk. I'm
pretty chill
worried.
Monday. What's that?
Said you managed to get through without playing a game of Risk.
Well, you know how it is. You know how it is. Sometimes we play Risk because it's like, what are we talking about? I don't know. Let's go smash some noobs at Risk. Plus, it's fun, and everybody likes Risk, the board game. So we normally get 100 million viewers when we play Risk. So we just have to do it because of the Benjamins, you know, just getting fucking super rich off playing the Risk online board game on stream. You know,
I don't see my super chat in the chat. That's weird.
Did you super chat today?
I did. I super chatted. Yes.
I don't know. I never got a notification of super chatting. You must have super chatted somebody else. Viewer activity.
No. Yeah, because I'm all about randomly super chatting strangers when I'm not watching your live stream.
I don't know. You didn't super chat me, so I don't know.
I did. It tells me I did. You charged me for it. Asshole.
Don't know what to tell you. It's not showing up on any of my stuff. And I swear I'm the guy. I swear I'm the guy who has the thing. I have the thing. I'm the guy.
So
I don't know. But thanks for your super chat. That doesn't. They didn't show up, so I don't know.
I don't know. Well, eventually there weren't enough people to buy memberships for.
Was it 100 million?
Dude, if it was 100 million, this would be a much different conversation. No,
yeah, I'd have to drive over there right now, and it's snowy.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to you.
Hey, if you win the lottery, let me know. Okay.
You'll be the second person I know.
All right. I didn't.
First.
I didn't win the lottery. Just so you know. Full disclosure, guys. Oh, actually, to be clear, I did win the lottery. I won a total of $4 American dollars, which was $4 less than I played. So we're technically in the red. Okay. Or no, sorry, $6 less. I bought a $10 ticket. Okay, a baller out here. But if I do win the lottery, I will be able to full-time start making content and hire an editor to do that. I'll be like,
if I ever win the lottery, I'll go up to the $15,000 a month Patreon level.
I know who I'm going to hire too. If I win the lottery, I know who I'm going to hire as my editor, and I'm going to let them learn how to edit on the payroll.
Nice.
Because they're smart enough, and they would be able to do it, and it wouldn't take them too long to figure it out.
All the important parts.
Although I will need an SEO person, a search engine.
There you go.
Optimizer.
You can hire me for that. I'll even do a website for you.
And just
another website for you.
Smash the optimization. Or just fix the website that I have now. Just add stuff to it. Because boy howdy, am I all about like not adding stuff to that website. I don't know why. It's realistically I do know why. It's the time thing, you know. Like I wish I had just had the time. I don't know. It's the time's slipping away. I'm gonna be dead soon, so don't worry about it. But
Why not?
do I know good editors already? Alyssa, what are the good editors? Who? Who? I'm an owl. I am an owl. Shannon does SEO. I would hire Shannon for sure.
Oh, fine.
That's Steve's wife, and she's fucking awesome.
Okay, well, I'm not fucking off. So
Oh,
I'll
wait.
let you.
And she does website too. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would probably put some people on the payroll. You could hire Jimmy.
fair,
To be honest with you, I wouldn't hire Jimmy. I wouldn't.
Why
I like
not?
Jimmy.
Okay.
I think Jimmy's a great guy, and he's a good editor. His workflow and like our personality like just would not work well like working on a project. I think it just wouldn't be a
It
good
would be
fit.
bro meetings.
Well, I mean, I would love to like go do some projects with Jimmy, but I don't think I would like. I wouldn't want to be his boss or whatever. That wouldn't work. Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a good fit. And plus, we have like a lot of history, and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it just wouldn't be a good fit.
Fair.
Yeah. But the reality is, like, the learning curve to become like a really like a decent editor. To be honest with you, if somebody was working on it, 30, 40 hours a week, I mean, within a couple of months, somebody could be pretty darn good at it. Realistically, I think, and especially if you were spending the time of editing the stuff while you were learning, I think somebody who's like dedicated to doing that and being like, I get a paycheck that's covering my needs and it's not a problem and I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to work on this. That's the big issue that I have, is that like I don't have a paycheck that says like, work on this. Just keep working on this. I'm sort of playing the lottery with YouTube, and it has been discouraging. It's been discouraging at best, and at worst, it's disheartening. Right? You're just like, fuck, I mean, it really is. And like, there's been I've had a lot of not success over the years. That is kind of discouraging, and it just kind of is what it is. Like the milling lumber video got 192 views, right? And that was like, that was days of working hard milling lumber, and I'm like, oh man, people are gonna think this is fucking cool. It got 192 views, right? Whereas, let's see.
I was laughing at the fact that the short in front of the thrift store has over 1,000 views. I noticed that earlier today.
Oh, yeah, let me see. Let me see these shorts.
That one's weird.
One of them's partially blocked. This short got partially blocked for some reason. Yeah, I used YouTube audio music in the background, and it got copyright claimed. It got copyright and claimed by YouTube itself, which is fucking crazy. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you offered me to use that music. I didn't even like. God damn it. But yeah, like that sign. So like the sign video has 2,377 views. And that was literally like me just making fun of some old boomer's sign out front of that place, which, by the way, I think I have recorded the follow-up video. I think I recorded it. I'm not 100% sure. Or if I have recorded it, I might have lost the video. I don't know. I've been fucked up with these hard drives for a while now, and I don't know where I'm putting half of the shit when I go back to pull it up. But I have a follow-up video that was making fun of that exact sign again.
Oh, no.
About the fact that used to be a skating rink, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is fucking...
Or a bowling alley. I can't remember which one.
It's hilarious. Like, this used to be a skating rink. But I couldn't verify whether or not it actually was a skating rink or whatnot. But, like...
I'll look it up for you.
You know, like so I did that video about insulating above your garage door. It's a short video. It has 5,000 views, you know. And that was literally just explaining, like, yeah, you should put insulation up here because the fucking cold air is going to come in. I made a short where I oopsed on dosing too much safe into the thing. That has 5,000 views. I made a short about aquascaping scissors, barn door. Yeah, I built that barn door and made a short out of that. It has like 3,000 views. Yeah, so it's one of those things that the disheartening nature of certain things where you're like, man, I really thought people would have liked the milling lumber video, for instance. And it was a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears went into doing that. And understandably, like maybe it's not the most engaging video of all time. But I just assumed that people would enjoy it more than 192 views. It's like it didn't even get over 1,000. And you're just like, okay, well, fuck me then, I guess. You know?
Well,
we lost
yeah.
5 subscribers since we've been live. So yeah, there's that too.
Oh, I'll stop calling in the green room. Apparently that's not working.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anytime you go live, basically what happens is if you go live, it starts searching through your subscribers and finds it and starts finding ones that are inactive and starts removing inactive subscribers from your thing while you're streaming, which is interesting.
How considerate of it. Not.
Hey, Mickham, what's up, buddy? Hey, Joel, plus everyone. I just filmed my betta machiantis male guarding eggs and fry for 4 to 6 days. Now I only need to edit the videos. Any ideas? Yeah, edit the video. I don't know. I don't know what ideas you're looking for, but find software that works for you for editing, and then you're gonna have to plunk away at it and mess with it for a long time. Skog Shrimp and Stuff says editing is kind of what killed trying to make videos for me because I took too long to get something that was less than mediocre at best. That's honestly the problem, is that like if you want something that's like really polished and great, there's a lot that goes into it. And it's not a mystery as to what goes into it. It's you write a script, you rewrite the script, so that it has a beginning and a middle and an end, has a protagonist and antagonist, a problem that needs to be solved, and then the problem being solved at the end. You need to make that. Then you need to shoot all of that video and in a way that makes sense and looks good, and the lighting's good, and the cameras are correct, and blah, 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 blah. Then you need to take all that and put it into a video editor and then edit it so that it makes sense. And then it has music, and it has sound effects, and it has cut-ins and cut-outs and blah, 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 and all this stuff. It's not a mystery as to how to do it. Like the getting it done and then putting it in a place where it ends up being successful is the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Mickham says shorts or 2-minute videos. Shorts. If you're starting out, like work on making shorts on YouTube, then take those shorts from YouTube, download them, and then upload them to Instagram, Twitter, and whatever other sites that are out there. Yeah. So make shorts out of it and then upload them separately to all the other websites too. Because you never know. Like you might find an audience on TikTok. You might find an audience on Instagram. You might find an audience on YouTube. Who knows? You don't know where you'll find it, but it's good to put it out there as much as you can. And it's hard for me to take my own advice, so I don't even I won't fault you for not being the best at it. But if you upload it like on YouTube or whatever, like I'll definitely share it out. Just make sure it's somewhere that I find out it exists. Make it visible to me, because I won't be able to be looking for it. That's the thing. Yeah. Anyhow, it's 4:17, which means I have to start dinner and then somehow leave to go pick up my daughter from school with the food cooking. So I got to figure that out. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that tonight. Or,
This is how crock pots and fast food become popular.
well, there's a little sushi place that's the Belt Drive. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. There are many little sushi places up there, so probably.
Hold on. All right, hold on. I won't be able to show you a video, but I will be able to show you a picture.
Ooh.
I wonder if there is a video. Hold on. Let me see if I can find a video. I'm going to have to mute the audio.
Really confused.
This one's on TikTok. Maybe we'll be.
Did you know that we have a conveyor belt sushi restaurant in the Cleveland area now? It's called Watami Revolving Sushi Bar, and it's located in Parma. As its name suggests, food travels around.
Oh my God, you son of a bitch! Oh my God, we guys almost got murdered. We almost died. All right, sound off. You. Hold on, check this out. I'm gonna show you. Hopefully, this is a decent video where nobody's boobs fall out or anything weird that's gonna get me banned off YouTube. We'll find out. There's some guy's head in the background. Check this out, though. See what I'm talking about? We will in a minute.
Wait, did you put it in Discord? Okay.
No, I put it on the main.
Waiting.
I'm showing it to everybody.
Lag.
So, this is a conveyor belt that's got all the sushi stuff on it.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
So they make sushi,
the other one?
and then they put it on the conveyor belt with a little cover on it.
Yeah.
See that? And it goes around, and it comes by your table. And you just look at what you want, and you take that off the conveyor belt.
And then they count your plate colors. They charge you by plate color.
So each plate costs X amount of money by what color it is. I don't know what this is. What's happening now? Something's happening now. Okay. We got to get this out of here.
But I'd like some wasabi mashed potatoes.
So those little plates come around with random sushi or whatever on them, whatever the restaurant decides to put on it. It comes by your table. You take off what you want, and then like a green plate is $2, a red plate's $5, whatever they decide. Then when it comes time to pay, they just add up how many colored plates you have in their denomination thing, and then you go up and pay at the register for however many plates you eat. So you don't really need to ask for anything. You just go in there, and they bring you drinks, and there's a waitress and all that, blah, blah, blah. And you can order stuff from the kitchen specifically if you want. That's not on the conveyor. Olivia loves a little place that's like that up near her school. And if you ask her what she wants to go out to dinner, her first response is immediately sushi. Her knee-jerk response will be, see, Fish Fam Link is not a person. There's no way. That's got to be a bot. It's got to be a bot.
Okay. Stay calm.
It's got to be a bot. Fish Fam Link claims to be a human. It's not possible. How are you watching the whole stream and then we get a super chat and you like on it? Only bots do that. My God, if Fish Fam Link's an actual person, I swear to God, you're hired to do bot stuff for me. I just need you to go around the internet doing bot stuff for me because you're just on it somehow. I don't know. Do you have that? If Fish Fam Link is a person, they have that brain thing, the neural net, the brain neural net chip. Is it experimental?
That's right. Yes.
That's a pink super chat. You're just out here going pink on a Monday. It's crazy. It's pink, bro.
It's for the.
I like it.
The little
my
girl
lights are.
Get sushi.
Did you notice that my lights are pink today?
I did.
Yeah.
I had wondered about that. Noticed a few things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things fucked up at the beginning of the stream. There's a lot of things fucked up now at the end of the stream. So let's be clear. I'll probably get some. I'll probably get a couple of shit heel comments on this one. Oh my God! Zipgun says hit the like at the end. Don't worry about the likes. Who the fuck
I
cares?
already hit the like.
No one cares anymore. No one cares about like buttons. No one cares about anything. No one cares about likes anymore. I always telling people to hit the like button, and I think I might be over it. I don't know. I'll say it again next week though, so don't hold me to my Debbie Downer comments right now. I guess hit the like button if you're into it. If there's not other people around, be gross about it. However you hit the like button, just be gross. See, Fish Fam Link's not a person because I was talking about them and they didn't say nothing.
They're just humble.
See, they can't be real.
I know. Weird.
They can't be
They
real.
follow people everywhere. I've seen them in aquarium. What's his face? The British guy's chat. I've seen them all over.
I don't even know. I don't know. Do they manage the bot? I don't know. The bot seems to be around way too much to be a human, but I've seen humans that are that dedicated. I've seen humans that were that dedicated in the past that all they did was hang around at live streams all day, every day, all the time, regardless of time. They would like be on and be in people's chats. And I always thought it was kind of crazy because I'm not even in hardly anybody's chat except for one Risk guy. There's one Risk guy that his notifications are somehow actually work whenever he goes live on YouTube. And he's an old guy like me. So whenever he goes live on YouTube is like coincidentally aligned with like my kid's schedule. Does that make sense?
That's
that
funny.
like he goes live like perfectly timed after bath time, kid bedtime. You know what I mean? It's like dinner time, bath time, bedtime. Oh, there goes the Risk live guy. And he's in the same time zone as us too. So he doesn't
Oh,
like
cool.
it's not like he goes live at 3 a.m. our time or something, you know. But he's like a family guy he's like a family man who has older kids than me, but whenever he goes live, it's like, oh, strangely enough, this is a perfect downtime for my weekly schedule also. So I'll just be like chilling on the couch like, hey man, what's up? He's like, man, you must be a big fan. It's like, it's just perfect timing. And somehow your notifications actually work that I had them turned on.
Funny.
Sort of like I've turned off the Joe Rogan Experience notifications like 100 times. And I still get Joe Rogan Experience notifications. It just is on. And I get these weird shorts whenever he's like interviewing some kind of right-wing, hero of the people.
Oh, sorry. I was close.
It's a wingnut's a good way to put it. Yeah, I don't know. It might be a bot that's managed by them. Stephen P is awesome. I don't know who's Liquid Zoo Aquatics. I don't know who that is. Liquid Zoo.
Sworn that I've heard that name before.
Liquid Zoo Aquatics. Liquid Zoo OnlyFans? Is that who it is?
OnlyFans is that? Of course, that would make sense. It's a good pun.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's Matt. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I'm confused of late, especially with the YouTube community. I don't know. It's hard to keep track. because people come and go all the time.
Everybody changes their name and
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I got to go finish. I got to go figure out this dinner. Now I got to thank Witchy Cat for a $50 super chat. It's pink.
You don't have to thank me for that. You'll get it in a few weeks. So
It'll show up.
Whatever.
It shows up next month on the 22nd. Let's
Excellent.
see. Yeah, because you have to close. You have to wait. Maybe not next month. Maybe the month after. I forget how it goes. You have to close out the
Even
month.
better.
You have to close out the month, and you have to close out the month, and then I think it has to verify everything from the month. Then all the charges go through and not be reversed. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking whack. It comes like maybe the following month. I don't know. Whenever it comes. It comes on the 22nd. I do know that. That's a thing. That's a thing I do know. I know that it comes on the 22nd, but I don't know which month it's paying
Not
out
in
for.
time for sushi is ultimately the answer we're aiming for here.
Oh, it's fine. I sold a bunch of cocaine over the weekend to make money.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
To the guys in the Navy just before they left?
Yep, the
right.
Navy boys. No, I didn't.
There you go.
Didn't sell any cocaine. I, you know,
Walked the docks instead.
I walked.
Right.
I walked the. I took a. I walked the dog on the docks over the weekend.
Ooh. Is that what you call it nowadays?
That's
All
what they
right.
call it. That's what they call it now.
Excellent.
No, no, it's fine. I can buy sushi if need be. I'll see what
I figured.
I'll see what my lovely daughter wants to do. Maybe we will go have a daddy-daughter dinner. We like to do that, but I prefer to go to the old school Chinese restaurant. We have like a super old school Chinese restaurant. That opened in the late 60s, and it's just been being run by the same family the whole time. And I will say this, number one, the decor is straight up late 60s. They haven't updated it, which is hilarious and great. Secondly, the service is like fucking number one, dude.
Nice.
Holy cow,
I was
rap.
about her age when we started going to Chinese restaurants, and it was always a treat because I could get a Shirley Temple. The adults all drank other things, but I'd get a Shirley. My big girl mixed drink.
Oh, yeah. Like Shirley Temples.
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
But the service is like number one. Dude, they are on it, bro. Big time. Service is great. Food is pretty good. It's old school though. It's old school. You're getting MSG'd, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
And but the food is, I wouldn't say the food is like 5-star, but it's good. It's good, and it's not, I mean, a 5-star Chinese restaurant is some fancy shit, you know what I mean? But this is just homegrown little restaurant. But the service is top notch. Everybody that works there is so rad. They're so nice. And they're like all the kids of the original owners. So yeah, we might go there. I like to go to the Chinese restaurant more than I do the sushi restaurant, but we'll see what the daughter says. Skoggs has got to go to bed. Thanks for the stream, buddy. Friggin' decent one. I appreciate you. Stay safe out there. Catch you later. I will stay safe. I can say that. A couple of people got murdered down the street the other night. That was wild. There was a shootout. There's a cowboy style shootout at the OK Corral down the road, and all the neighbors were freaking out about, oh my God, the gun violence, and I was like, how many people have been shot to death in our area, like in our city? And you look it up, and it was 1 last year. So you go, well, it went from 1 last year to 1 this year. Some of the people that got shot didn't die. They just got holes. They have new holes now.
Yeah. You're all, dude, I came from Tacoma. Whatever.
Yeah, I came from Tacoma. They would be shot all the time. Well, actually, I came from Delridge, bro, West Seattle.
Ooh,
there's a shooting there every week. And so I was like, yeah. And then the funny thing was, I was reading the police reports about it, and it was like, this is obviously the people involved in the shooting were all involved with each other previous. It wasn't like some random drive-up situation. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It's like the explanation of what happened was, from the police report, was X person drives home from a bartending job at 3 in the morning after being a bartending shift, and was followed by 2 cars to their house, and then there was a shootout outside. Right? And you're like,
Did you kick me out of the bar?
yeah. I mean, I'm like, this all sounds like there was stuff happening before, and then now there's stuff continuing from this previous business exchange that they were having before. I'm like, it sounds like drunk people mad at bartender, or drunk people want to rob the bartender. I don't know. But I'm like,
Right.
This all sounds like a completely insulated event, not roaming gangbangers or something on the streets, But of course, all the neighbors think we're under siege now,
In a
or whatever.
post-apocalyptic dystopian.
Yeah, it's an invasion.
They're coming for us.
Everyone should have a gun at all times now because there's a shootout. Like yeah, but that's what leads to the shootout, is everyone having a gun. You understand? Like, if people didn't bring their guns out, there couldn't be a shootout, because you wouldn't have a gun to have a shootout to facilitate.
We've already finished the political part for the day. Go feed your child.
This is what I'm saying.
Down that road again.
This is what I'm saying to the neighbors. This is what I'm saying.
I know. I know.
So I randomly just shoot, around every once in a while. Keep them on their toes. Just a couple of
fire into the sky.
Couple of backyard pops. Just let them. Just kidding. There was a TikTok about that where a guy was like talking about how he's trying to keep his the prices in his neighborhood down, so he'll occasionally go out back and just fire a couple of rounds into a hay bale. Just let him know there's guns just going off here every once in a while. It's like,
randomly.
I wouldn't recommend that, because people will call the cops and you'll go to jail. So it's not a good idea, but it is funny to joke about. Anyhow, love you guys. I'll talk to you probably Thursday night. I think I'll probably do a late night Risky McRiskerton stream if everything works out in our favor, but we'll see.
Later.
Be good. Later.
Later.